was really surprising that none of us have even either talked to our students about it or even our teachers. So apparently it's not being implemented at really any of our schools, so it's kind of strange.
My school district doesn't really talk about it because they're still in the tax mentality. We don't talk about it in meetings. We don't put it to action in the classroom.
Because there's not much talk about the CCRS, I myself am limited on knowledge about it. I really wish there was more extensive discussion so that both teachers and students were better prepared for these standards.
Well, to be honest, most teachers that I've talked to or asked about it, they're unaware of the CCRs or they just have limited knowledge on it. But I know that at Sci-Fair, they're required to take a class called PACE, and it basically prepares them for either college or like maybe a type of career that they want to go into. They don't necessarily have to go to college, but it's more, I don't know, it's more triggered toward them actually going to college rather than just doing the career part of it. So I guess that's the differences between the CCR and PACE.
At my school, we do not discuss CCRS. I'm not certain if any of my other fellow teachers really know about it. We mainly talk about STAR and ESC and tax, and because we are academically unacceptable, we're more worried about getting them where they need to be, from my understanding, instead of trying to look at them for CCRS. Just with the type of children that we have in the environment we have, it's kind of one of those things that it's not our main concern at the moment. It's getting them up to the level they need to be at to remain academically acceptable.
I'm ashamed to say this, but I actually have not had any type of discussions really relating to that. So I'm sorry, that's all I got.
Okay, my biggest professional challenge is to motivate my students. I teach physics and they're scared of math. Like when math is involved, they are just, their mind just goes everywhere. So it's really hard for me to motivate them to want to learn physics, and it's really hard for me to teach them the science can be fun.
My biggest challenge so far in the school year is having to act professionally around my students. Being fresh out of college, it's hard for me to be the adult in the classroom.
As I said, my biggest professional challenge is trying to find classroom management that works in several different classrooms and with different subjects and with different ages.
My biggest professional challenge, I have to say, is organization and meeting the needs of each individual student, particularly my special education students and my ELL, English language learners. I'm having to make sure I'm spending individual time with them each day and making sure they're understanding the material, they're understanding the lessons, and they're not getting too far behind. So.
Challenge this year has been classroom management for sure, because some of my students just have no motivation to behave. They don't want to be in school, so there's not really anything I can do to motivate them to learn. So I feel like I spend 75% of my class time just trying to keep the kids under control.
I think my biggest professional challenge is motivating the students, especially the ones who don't want to go to college, who know they're not going to go to college, who just want to go work. They don't understand why they need to do the work in class, have proper English. I try to explain that it applies and they just don't see how it does, and they don't want to do any of their work, especially homework. Never done, ever.
One of my biggest challenges so far is actually implementing positive reinforcement, especially when my first reaction is to get mad, get frustrated, but it's a work in progress, and I'm getting better with all those students.